Hey everybody, Tanya here, founder of Hustle to Muscle Fitness and Team Beachbody Coach, and it's time for another edition of HMF Live, and so wanted to welcome you. I am, like I said, I'm a Beachbody coach. I've been using Beachbody products now for 10 years, maybe more, and have through that have lost 78 pounds and have been able to keep it off for quite a few years, in fact. At least since 2009. So anyway, welcome to another episode. I apologize for not having one last week, but with my full-time job and running events for will be seniors, I was just exhausted. You guys wouldn't have gotten a very good episode. So, but thanks for tuning in today. As I mentioned earlier in the day, we're going to be talking about protein shakes, health shakes. And then I'm also going to be comparing and talking about Shakeology, what's in them, what are some things that you should be aware of, and what you should beware of. So let's get started. First of all, let me make a couple of announcements for Hustle to Muscle Fitness. The next thing coming up is the Operation Liberation Challenge. So that's where we give you a fitness plan, a nutrition plan, and then also hopefully maybe even get you going on Shakeology, because it's a very dense amount of nutrition that you get in one shake. I drink it every day. I love it. And we'll talk about that later. So anyway, but the very most important part is that you get the fitness and the nutrition plan, and then you get support from the group, and you get weekly one-on-one coaching sessions with me to help you identify target or problem areas, and then help you to problem solve and get past any obstacles or humps that we can help you get through. So if that sounds like it's of interest to you, let me know. Obviously, 4th of July weekend is coming up, so I hope all of you, since this will air again, we'll do another episode July 5th. Hope everybody has a happy, if you celebrate 4th of July, Independence Day, and a great weekend. So, all right, let's get into it. So, first thing I want to do is talk about protein shakes. So, and I actually happen to bring some of the ones that I have on hand and have had on hand for a very long time, because it just is, I don't know about you, but I tried. So this first one is a giant bag of muscle milk. And when I was first getting started into fitness, I heard everyone say, oh, you got to drink protein shakes, this and that. So I did. I think I went to GNC actually and bought this giant bag that is 6 pounds of vanilla whey protein powder. And as you can see, I still have quite a bit of it left. It just tasted awful to me, and I have to put all kinds of stuff in it to make it taste tolerable, I'll say that. And then the other thing I got, this was one I bought, I think before that, I bought at Safeway, Top Care. I don't know how top it is. Again, vanilla. I bought vanilla because I figured, well, that's going to be more flexible to go with lots of stuff. So I'm going to talk about these two. There's still some in here, but I think actually it's from this because it's a smaller container. So the first thing I want to do is talk about what's in these, because it's very important that you're reading labels. Because just because something says it's healthy or it's got 9 whole grain, this and that, you've got to look at all of the other ingredients as well. Just not what the highlights are that the cereal company wants you to know, or that these companies want you to be aware of. So get to know your labels and what ingredients you're actually putting in your body. And I'm going to kind of dispel some myths, I think, for you, maybe some shocker facts that shocked me when I found out. So all right, so let's talk about, first of all, the ingredients. So in this one, we've got whey protein concentrate, whey protein isolate, which both of those are pretty normal. Just a process of going through and in some of those cases eliminating the fats or the dairy or the sugar. But I will say, if you are, well, first of all, many of you, if you're like me and you drink whey protein, like in this kind of sort of concentrated form, you probably get what are the protein farts, and they are awful. Sorry, Gary. And a lot of times that's from the whey, because if you have a sensitivity or an allergy to dairy, like I do, this much whey can really do your stomach over. It can really do you a number. And so, so you might want to not do this whey protein if you have a dairy sensitivity. But at the same time, a lot of times the other alternative is soy protein. And we've also been learning a lot more about how awful soy is for you, especially in higher levels. So that's not really a good option either. So I'll talk about some options that you can use that are a lot healthier for you and that aren't dairy based. So, okay, moving on. And then let's see what else. So we've got the whey protein concentrate and isolate, natural and artificial flavors. I'm going to get into that in a second. Acylfame, sorry, again, if you can't pronounce it, maybe you shouldn't eat it. Potassium, and that is actually an artificial sweetener. Now, you're going to say like, well, I try to avoid, I want it to be low calorie, I want it to be low in sugars, blah, blah, blah. I get that, I really do. But artificial sweeteners are terrible for you too, especially in higher levels. Things like Splenda and Equal, Sweet and Low, all of that. Because what it does is it can end up causing, it sort of tricks your body into thinking it's getting sugar, but then I don't remember the name of the process, and I apologize. If I come across it, I will post it in the comments below this video. But there's basically a process where it tricks your body into thinking it's getting sugar, but then it doesn't really go through its normal process of what happens when you get that sugar feed, whatever. And so it doesn't take away your craving. If anything, it makes it worse because you've gotten the sweetness, but your body hasn't satiated that craving for sugar. So you continue to want it more. That's why a lot of times when you see people drinking diet soda trying to be healthy, they drink tons more than even if they would have drank one regular Pepsi. And that's because their body's continuing to want that. And it causes spikes still in your blood sugar levels, which is also not great. So, yeah. So that acylfame, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, potassium is an artificial sweetener. Guar gum, now that actually comes from the guar bean, so that one's not necessarily terrible. What else? Sucralose, again, anything with lose, L-O-S-E, so fruit, or O-S-E, sucralose, fructose, all of that is sugar. It's a form of sugar. And so again, if you're trying to avoid added sugars and things like that, you got to look for anything that's like that. And there's a few different forms. I can't even think of all. Fructose, sucralose. Look it up though. You'll see there's a few different forms of sugar. Soy lecithin or lecithin. I'm not sure how you say that either, but that's another food additive. It's also used commonly as an emulsifier, and it's also made from a variety of oils, including rapeseed oil, which is like a canola oil, and that's a hydrogenated oil. Those are not very good for you either. You want oils like coconut oil, olive oil, that sort of thing. And a lot of times when they have those sorts of oils in them, they usually are, unless it actually says like certified organic or whatever, they're probably a GMO product too, which again, now we're getting into genetically modified foods. That's even worse. That's why so many people have sensitivities and allergies to like wheat because of the gluten. We don't have a pure source of wheat really anymore unless you get sprouted, but getting into a whole different topic. So, all right. So that's just what's in this one. A lot of times they add a lot of artificial and chemicals and sweeteners to make this stuff taste better because it really doesn't. And if, I don't know about some of you, but this is one, tastes bad, but it's got that protein grittiness. I've tried a few different ones. So Muscle Milk, this Top Care, like even like the Special K protein shakes. Like I know really like you're gonna go to Special K for your health products, probably not. But anyway, so let me talk about what's in this one. It's very similar, and then I'll get into the artificial natural ingredients. Okay, this one is, okay, so same thing, whey protein concentrate, isolate, partially hydrolyzed whey protein. Again, that's another process that they use for the whey. Again, natural and artificial flavors, soy lecithin and sucralose. And again, this one contains ingredients made from milk and soy. So really, it's a lot of the same things that we just talked about. So with that being said, let's talk about what things can be considered natural and artificial. So I just finished reading this book, Wild Diet by Abel James. Awesome book. And you can also check out his podcast at Fat Burning Man. Another great resource for health and fitness information. So Let me go through here some of the things that can get away from artificial flavoring. So I'm going to name you some of the ones that he talks about. Okay, so artificial flavoring, like the ones in a McDonald's strawberry milkshake, may contain some or all of the following ingredients: amyl acetate, amyl butyrate, amyl valerate, anethol, anisyl formate, benzyl acetate. I mean, this is like a paragraph, a full paragraph of just artificial crap that's put into this strawberry milkshake. When, you know, you could do something like strawberries, almond milk, and, you know, strawberries, almond milk, and like ice. You can go pretty basic and still get a really good shake out of it. Or just have strawberries. That's even better. So anyway, here's one: hydroxylphenyl 2-butanone, which is a 10% solution in alcohol. And that's going into your shake. So those are some of the artificial ingredients. But I think this is the one that's really going to kind of blow your mind. So you think that you're better off with the foods that say, oh, well, it's all natural flavors or natural ingredients. Okay, so he says, chew on this. Secretions from the anal glands of beavers produce a bitter, smelly, orange-brown substance known as castoreum. That is extensively used in raspberry and vanilla flavoring. It's legally labeled as natural flavoring. Guess what this is? Vanilla, natural flavors, probably beaver butt juice in here. So you might want to think twice about, well, this says it's all natural. There's a lot of things that the FDA probably allows to pass through as natural. Technically, a beaver's butt juice is natural. So, and he even says, well, I hope you like beaver butt. So just keep that in mind. So you really, really, really need to look at the labels and think twice about that, you know. And the thing that sucks too is I really like raspberry flavoring, but from now on, I think I'll just take raspberries and avoid stuff that says natural flavoring. So, all right. So let's talk a little bit about Shakeology. And no, this isn't necessarily like a, hey, you should do Shakeology. Yes, Stephanie, yeah, beaver butt juice, I know, right? This isn't necessarily like, hey, buy Shakeology. You know, I really don't care if you do. This is the stuff that I choose to drink and put in my body. You may find something else that works for you, and that's awesome. But I still want you to read the label to make sure you're not getting beaver butt juice or anything else weird from that matter. So, all right, but let's talk about what's in this, because, you know, you'll hear me a lot saying, hey, have you ever tried this? And, you know, there's a lot of ingredients in here, and you just think, oh, well, either that's too expensive or that's just another health shake or whatever. And that's fine. Pass it off if you want. I'm not forcing anybody to try it, except for maybe Gary. He was kind of forced to try it, but he lives here. So, all right, let's look at the ingredients in this. All right. Protein blend. So this particular one, this is non-vegan. I do have a vegan one here, so we'll talk about that too. So this one is a whey protein as isolate. Now, I will say that the Shakeology, the regular like whey that might have dairy stuff in it, in this form, for whatever reason, it does not bother my stomach. I don't get the protein parts, and maybe it's because it's only the isolate and not the concentrate. Or maybe it's a higher quality. That's very possible too. Pea protein, P is in PEA, chia, flax, quinoa, cacao, pea fiber, yacon, cordyceps, chlorella, spirulina. So far, all of these are natural ingredients, like roots and herbs and fruits and berries, things like that. Acerola cherry, chicory root fiber, pomegranate, camu camu, mitake, that's a form of mushroom, reishi, rose hips, ashwagandha. I think Tony Horton's right. That is fun to say, ashwagandha. Enzyme, oops, I missed one. Ashwagandha, enzyme blend. Kale, lohangao, that's a monk fruit. Himalayan salt, schisandra, maca, cinnamon, green tea, ginkgo, moringa, and sashayinchi. So all of these are natural herbs, roots, fruits, vegetables, plants, things like that. And you can even see here, and it'll tells you a little bit more about like what those things do. Super protein blends, antioxidants, phytonutrients, things like that. Okay, so that's the regular one that has the wheat stuff, or the whey protein in it. So let's look at, this is a vegan tropical strawberry. I don't have vegan chocolate. So, okay, so vegan has a vegan protein blend of pea protein, oat protein, chia, rice protein, quinoa, flax. So that's the blend that makes up the protein. All of that is non-animal based, non-dairy. And then this also has agave, that's your natural sweetener, strawberry, beet juice, pea fiber, chlorella, yacon, cordyceps. So now we're starting to get into some of the same stuff that you heard in the chocolate one. Bilberry, it's another berry, maitake, reishi, spinach, ashwagandha, spirulina, schisandra, lohangao, maca. So it's a lot of the same, probably the base foundation, and then the protein especially is where they get into some differences, and then of course different flavors are going to use different ingredients to get that, and then maybe even slightly different sweeteners. So, but all natural, and the same thing, you get the antioxidants and the phytonutrients and all that kind of stuff. So again, I'm not saying you have to drink Shakeology, but I am saying, one, don't knock it till you try it, and some people, it may not be for you. That's okay. Some people are going to love it, like me. I am a Shakeology lifer. But the most important thing is that whatever you decide to do, whether it's Shakeology or whether it's Omni Nutrition or whether it's, what else is out there? There's a bunch of other ones. Whatever you decide to do, read the labels and research them. Don't just read them and go, okay, well, I read it. Like I went online tonight before the call, before the episode, to really find out more about what these things are. And after reading books like Wild Diet and learning more about what gets passed off as an artificial or a natural ingredient, I'm especially more leery of looking at labels. I look at the labels more for ingredients now than I even do for the calorie and the sugar and the fiber and all that kind of stuff. Because, some of that, some of it's important, but some of that, it's not nearly as important as knowing what I'm actually putting in my body. So, if nothing else, that is my challenge to you, is to read your labels, learn about what you're eating. The saying goes, you are what you eat. When in all actuality, it's really you are what you ate. So, if I'm eating soy and it's a GMO product, then what am I exactly getting? Or if I am, if I'm eating beef, how high quality is that? Is it steroids and they're being pumped full of steroids and hormones and stuff? And then that's really what I'm getting, which can actually cause other issues in me. In fact, I heard, sorry, this is a little bit of a rabbit trail, but I actually heard or read an article, this was probably a few months back, but there were, it's either college or Olympic, some high-level athlete, they were, maybe it was even baseball, but they were, their players were testing positive for steroids, even though they hadn't touched any anabolic kind of steroid. And it was because of the steroids that were in the meat they were eating. I think it might have been beef, but that's how much it can affect you. Whatever you're eating, whatever it ate, you're going to still absorb some of that. So the more organic that you can go, the more high quality, look for things that are hormone free, steroid free, all of that makes a huge difference. I know I'm getting more conscientious about it, and I've been talking to Gary more about it, and we're kind of both getting on the same page, even for our dogs. Like we're talking more about like maybe we should get high quality meat and bones and give that to our dogs as well. Like, they eat like some of the scraps from us, which is usually like carrots, apples, even lettuce, spinach. One of my dogs likes spinach, bananas, so they eat pretty healthy for the most part. But then you start looking at their dry food or their canned food and what the hell's in that? I want my dogs to be healthy as well. and I'm not going to give them a bunch of artificial crap and processed chemicals and stuff. So if we eat, well, in this case, we eat the wild way, I want my dogs to too, because it's more natural for them and probably easier to digest. And honestly, I think and I hope it will eliminate some of the gas problems. So, but anyway, so that's what tonight was about. Really reading labels, but I wanted to focus on, you know, Shakeology versus protein shakes, because that's my experience. And so, you know, next time you're in the store and you're looking at protein shakes, pick one up and check it out. See what kind of stuff is in there. Find out if it's got natural ingredients allowed on it, natural flavoring. So, and you'll find that on other things too, especially if there's stuff that's raspberry and vanilla flavored. It might have those natural ingredients, or natural flavors, I should say. So, all right, I hope this was helpful to you. I hope it encourages you to really start reading your labels. What are you eating? What are you giving your kids? What are you giving your family members? What are you giving your pets? And be aware of that, because it's important. You know, we have a lot more food-related sensitivity, allergy issues going on now in just the last few years than ever before. And that's because the quality of our food is being so degraded that it's causing these issues in us. So, doing all week. Awesome. Good job. So, all right. I'm going to wrap this up because I want to go and I just showered. So now, I just worked out. So I need to shower, get my dinner on. That's what it is. I've got a hangry brain. So, all right, folks, I hope this was helpful to you. Feel free to follow up with any questions, comments, concerns, and I will be sure to get back to you. If there's something I don't know, as always, I will make sure to research it and find an answer for you, or at least tell you where you can find an answer. So the resource I am going to leave you with tonight is The Wild Diet by Abel James and his podcast at The Fat Burning Man. So, all right, folks, I hope you have a great week. It is Tuesday. Wow. Okay. It's Tuesday. So have a great rest of your week. And because I won't have another episode until next Tuesday, happy 4th of July. Have an awesome weekend. Stay safe. And most importantly, have a healthy day and week. Peace out.